Hi guys, welcome to Module 6. Yay! We made it to Module 6. I want to say congratulations to you to making it to Module 6, but I also want to say congratulations to me for making it to Module 6. We've got two more modules. We got 7 and 8, and today is my Sunday. I didn't get a chance to do this one yesterday. It was Saturday, so there's a lot of time left in the day today. So I'm going to try to get 7 and 8 done today. 8 is a little long, 7 probably not so long, but I want to think we're almost done. Flood insurance is what we're going to talk about today. And then in chapter module 8, 7, we're going to talk about regulations. And then in module 9, module 8, we're going to talk about, we're just going to go over terms, I think, in module 8. And, I said in the beginning, to me, insurance is all about definitions and terms and learning it's like learning a new language. You have to learn what these words mean, and then you have to apply those terms. So today we're going to go over flood insurance. It's going to be really quick. This is not a long module, just so you can prepare yourself for that. If you want to go grab something, pause me. Go grab something to drink, grab a snack, grab a notebook and some paper. And I know that's a little old-fashioned. It kind of dates me when I say that because kids today don't do those things. But however you record, your notes, you want to do that. And this is going to be quick and fast. I don't want you to miss anything. Flood insurance is really important in some areas. In some areas of the country, I'm going to say the world. We don't have to worry about flood insurance, but then, if you're on the outer layers of, different parts, Florida is a big one. Texas, we're here in Texas on the coast, on the Gulf. It's talked about Houston, Harris County. They're prone to flooding. Anywhere on the coast, California, and then I say that. And when I go and search the flood maps, what I found is we're all prone to flood, no matter where we're at, because, the waters are the ocean, the waters are constantly rising. We have temperature, climate change issues. So for me, my thing is maybe if I move to Wyoming, I'm further enough inland, I don't have to worry about it. But anywhere along the coast, they were saying that you're kind of prone to flooding. I remember Hurricane Katrina came through New Orleans years ago. I can remember that very distinctly in my head. And I just sat there like everybody else did and kind of watched it all fall out on television. So, my heart went out to those folks. And even now, when I do my research and I think about insurance, I think about the people who are prone to flood, and that's where my heart kind of goes out. And I'm thinking about doing some more. I don't want to do a course on flooding, but I may just do some free information, like public information on flooding, and put it on my YouTube channel. Because I think that, when those types of things happen, people are just left like, okay, what do I do? How do I get insurance? How do I get help? And I think, as a public service, I may just do a piece on flooding. Okay, so look for that on my YouTube channel. I don't know if I connected my YouTube channel to the course yet, but I will put it at the end of maybe, let's say, module 7, since I just brought it up. And you guys can connect with me too on YouTube, and you can see the public service I'll do on the flooding, because I really think for me, it's a huge thing. My heart goes out, and I want people to have that information, and it's just hard to find, Okay, so guys, this material again is copywritten. I'm going to ask that I don't see my information on the internet anywhere. Thank you very much. And then I got a quote here by Roy Bartel, and it says, "Most people think selling is the same as talking, but the most effective salespeople know that listening is the most important part of their job." Okay, boom, there it is. Okay, if you want to be successful, if you're not selling, if you're having problems, stop talking. Listen. And yesterday I went over what module 5 with you guys, and I gave y'all some sales tips. And I don't know if I'm going to give you some more sales tips, because this is not a sales course. This is a insurance course, but you have to know how to sell in anything you do. You know, I want to thank my son. When he was 9 years old, we used to do negotiations over bedtime. Okay, well, I'll go at 8. No, I'll go at 7:30. No, I'll go at 9. No, how about, we used to go back and forth. Okay, and he was 9, and he was selling me then. And most times we negotiated and we came to an agreement. So know that everything in life is sales. And in order for you to be successful, in my opinion, I'm going to say that, in my opinion, in order for you to be successful in insurance, you're going to have to know how to sell. Okay, so just, get you some sales training. Like I said, if you contact me even via email, I'll sit down and I'll do a one-on-one coaching session with you. But you have to know how to sell. Okay, so today we're going to talk about flood insurance. This is going to be quick. It's not a lot. There are not a lot of slides in this module. So I should be able to go ahead and record module 7 and 8 today. Today is Sunday, and maybe I can launch tomorrow and start marketing my course tomorrow. Okay. And if you know anybody who's interested in getting a property and casualty license, I would highly, ask that you recommend the course to them. I haven't set up an affiliate thing here yet. I may do it. It's not something that's in the forefront. But if you know anyone who's looking for help with property and casualty passing the test, I will highly recommend, the course, online course here. Okay. So let's look at flooding today. It says, no matter where you live or work, some risk of flooding exists. And I want to truly believe that in my mind. And I have done research. I have looked at the flood maps, and what the oceans are rising. And this is why, they never say it. They never say it, but I'm going to guess out loud that this is why Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and those guys are going to outer space. Okay. They know that this planet has a limited amount of time left. They know that one day our oceans, because we're more water on this planet than we are land. So they know that in order for us to survive as a species, the water is going to rise and we're going to have to go off into another place. And if we don't already have that place ready, then we're just going to all die. Okay. So I think, in my humble opinion, that's one of the other reasons why they're going into outer space. And, just looking at the stock market here, space is becoming our next big industry. We got the auto industry, we've got gasoline prices that are absorbent, but I think space exploration and colonization is coming up here really soon. And I do have a space insurance course coming up. And I did not say that to get to that course, but I do. I do have a space insurance course that I'm working on for those of you who are interested in insurance like I am. And I think my next course is going to be on cannabis, but I do have the space course, and I'll make an asterisk next to that course today to make sure that I do post that course here soon. Okay. So let's get back to flood. Guys, I just pulled this map up today because I wanted to show you what this looks like and how serious it is. Because, you hear about flooding, you hear about hurricanes, and you're going to have people on the phone. They're going to have a house and they're going to live in an area where the insurance is just high. The insurance is going to be high. They're going to be in a flood zone area, and they're going to ask you for flood insurance. Okay. So you're going to have to know a little bit about what is going on with that. Okay. So this is an old map. This is one of the ones I found today when I was just getting ready to do the course. I said they need to see a map. So this is a map of 2008 Virginia hurricane evacuation study, okay? And this is just a good example. So if you look at the category reds, those are people that are right on the coast, and here's the thing to me, with the coast, yeah, the coastlines are beautiful. Everybody wants to live off the ocean. And when you go to look at those homes, they're usually the most expensive homes too, right? But then when you go to get insurance, it's kind of hard to get insurance. Why? Because if something happens, you're the first one to go. And nobody wants to insure that those areas. Nobody does. So that's where the national government comes in. Okay, and then you look at category 2, a little bit further, right there next to the red, the orange. Those people are just as much at risk as the people in the red. Okay, and then you go to yellow, so it comes further and further inland. So here's the thing: the further inland you are, when a hurricane is coming, or when flooding starts, the greater you are going to be protected. But anywhere along the coast there, you're going to be in some trouble. Okay. All right, guys, flooding and FEMA. Okay, I want you guys to know who FEMA is. I want you to get very, very familiar with FEMA and know who they are. Some of you do know who they are. Do more research. Go to their website, check out the flood zone maps, check out your neighborhood, check out your zip code, check out your city, check out your state, and see where the flood areas are in your state, if there are any. Okay, and there may not be any today, but you look 10 years from now, you may see some, okay, because the waters are rising. So we got flood zones are what? Geographical areas that FEMA, who's FEMA? FEMA is the Federal Emergency Management Administration, I'm going to say, has defined according to varying levels of flood risk. These zones are depicted on a community's flood insurance rate map called FIRM, or flood hazard boundary map. And I didn't put any links in here. I should have put links in there to those maps, but you can go to FEMA.gov and you can see those maps. And then the National Flood Insurance Program is where people can get insurance for flooding. Okay, so if you get somebody, you're working for a company and your company doesn't offer flood insurance, okay? Actually, if you're in the flood zone, you're going to have to go with the national program because nobody wants to insure those coastal areas. Flood insurance provides coverage for direct damage to buildings and their contents within a participating community. Established in 1968 to make funds available for those affected by flooding. And I went and did some research here, and what I found was the most vulnerable cities in our country for flooding. And when you look at this, you'll see that Punta Gorda, Florida's they're prone. Fort Myers, Florida area, 53%. Georgia, okay, you've got Brunswick, Georgia, 50%. You've got Mississippi, Biloxi, Gulfport, Mississippi, right along the Gulf, Florida, the Panhandle in Florida, Panama City, Florida. So those are some of the most vulnerable places in our country that are at risk for flooding. However, you look at Texas, around the Gulf, I'll say Houston again, Houston, Harris County, they're prone to flooding. And when I trained at my current company, I was talking to our wind and hail guy, and he said that down in Harris County, Houston area, some of those homes are built on swamp, like even swampland, And in Mississippi, I think you have that same thing where they build the houses, where they're not even on fertile, solid ground, So if the water comes up, it comes up from the earth, and I don't know. I don't want to get into that because I'm not a geologist, but I would do some research on that and see what areas in your state, what areas in your area are prone to flood. And you should know those counties, you should know those cities, you should know those zip codes, because people are going to call you and they're going to say, I want insurance for my home. And you're going to look it up. I had one lady, she had a beautiful home in Houston area. And I'm talking 1.2 million. It was a beautiful $1 million home. And she showed me pictures, and I couldn't get her insurance because my company would not insure her home. And the reason was because she was right on the coast and it was a high risk area. And she was a little upset. She had a language barrier. She was a foreign lady. I couldn't, speak to her like I'm speaking now clearly where I can understand sometimes. And she was upset. She was like, why won't you insure us? What? And I didn't want to tell her, well, boo, you're on some swampland down there. You're right on the coast. Ain't nobody going to insure that, because some company will insure her, but we could not insure her based upon where she was located right along the coast. Okay, so you're going to have that. You should know those areas. Okay, so let's look at the National Flood Insurance Program. The National Flood Insurance Program, they call it NFIP, is administered by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, not administration, it's agency, okay, which is part of the United States Department of Homeland Security. So the National Flood Insurance Program, their policies are issued by private insurers that are certified to participate in the program. Okay, so there you have it. So you'll be working for an insurance company, and they may offer flood insurance, but it's being backed by the National Flood Insurance Program. It may be backed by FEMA, okay? Because when these disasters happen, it's hard for any one insurance company to come in and pay out all that cash. It's a lot of cash. Okay, let me see. Do I go 2 slides or 1 slide? 1 slide. Okay. All right, guys. So there's another website I want you to visit and do some research this weekend or when you have some downtime to study. It's floodsmart.gov. Okay. And there are typically a 30-day waiting period. There is typically a 30-day waiting period for a National Flood Insurance Program policy to go into effect. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. And I told you guys that when people want wind and hail, you can't get wind and hail 5 minutes when there's a storm coming. Oh, there's a storm coming. Let me go get some wind and hail insurance. It doesn't work like that. Companies will not insure you if the National Weather Center or whoever has come out and said there's a storm coming, there's a hurricane coming, and everybody wants to run and call and get insurance. It's too late. It's too late, boo. You have to have that insurance in place 30 days, 60 days out. It takes time to get insurance. I write home policies, and sometimes the policies don't go through. They may need pictures. They may need the underwriters have to look at it. It may take a week or two just to get a policy like solidly in place. Okay. So if somebody's calling you and there's a storm coming, know that it's going to take 30 to 60 days, so let them know that, well, yeah, there's a storm coming, but you're not going to be covered for another 30 days. You got to write the policy today, but it's going to take some time to get that policy in place, or your coverage is going to take, some time. Okay, so know those time periods. So unless the coverage is mandated, it is purchased as required by a federal-backed lender or is related to a community flood map change. If someone needs help finding a provider, they can go to floodsmart.gov/flood insurance / provider, or they can call the National Flood Insurance Program. And there's a phone number there. Just wanted to give you that information. Okay. Now, guys, there's also something called the Flood Advocate. Okay. I want you to know about this. I don't know if it's going to be on the exam, though, but you do need, for the exam, what you do need to know is that FEMA's involved and that the national government's involved when it comes to flood. Most insurance companies cannot cover flood by themselves. So they're backed by the federal government. Okay. So there's something called the Flood Insurance Advocate. And the Office of the Flood Insurance Advocate, or the OFIA, for their fair treatment of policyholders and property owners, because flood is a big deal, guys. And that's why I want to do the public service maybe program on it or do some information on it, education. Because again, when that water comes and it destroys everything, what are you going to do? Most people, I couldn't imagine. I would be sitting there crying myself, like, oh, my stuff just got, flooded. So my heart goes out. So sometimes these people, when they're in that situation, they need help. They need somebody to talk, like a lawyer. They need somebody to talk for them. They need somebody to show them how the system works, because it's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of, how do I get money? How do I get help? And again, that's when FEMA comes in and people are trying to get help and get money to fix their homes, or maybe to move out of town, or do whatever they have to do to get their life back to back to normal. That's what insurance is for. So the Office of Flood Insurance Advocates, they fight for fair treatment of policyholders and property owners by doing what? Providing education and guidance on all aspects of the National Flood Insurance Program. So they'll go over that information with them. They'll tell them how to get the insurance. They'll tell them how to get benefits, how to, recoup whatever they've lost. And they also identify trends affecting the public, making recommendations for the National Flood Insurance Program, improvements to FEMA's leadership. Okay. And then, guys, there's something called Write Your Own. Okay. And again, I don't know if you're going to get into this with your insurance company, but if you're an agent and you're talking to people, you need to know this stuff, because they're going to go, oh, well, what do I do? I have a house. I'm on the coast. How do I get flood insurance? Now you'll be able to direct them and say, well, let me check and see what our company does. And most times, I don't know. Your company may not do anything. So then you may say, okay, well, go to FEMA's website and here's the information. And then let them go to FEMA and let them go to their zip code and let them go to the National Flood Insurance Program, and they have to figure that stuff out on their own. Okay, basically. Okay. But you need to know, when you can't do it, that there are other options for people. And there is something called Write Your Own Program. Okay. Call it WYO. The program is under the National Flood Insurance Program. I see a typo. Sure you do too. That is not how you spell flood. The Write Your Own program is under the National Flood Insurance Program. It allows participating insurers to issue National Flood Insurance Program flood insurance policies issued directly by the National Flood Insurance Program. Okay, so Write Your Own insurers write the coverage on their own paper, and the NIFP insures them 100%. Reinsurance. Let's talk a little bit about reinsurance. We didn't talk a lot about it. You do need to know about reinsurance for your test. I think that will be on the test. Reinsurance is an important risk management tool and is used by insurance companies to protect themselves from large financial losses. In other words, reinsurance is insurance for insurance companies, insurance providers, such as the National Flood Insurance Program. Pay premiums to reinsurers. In exchange, reinsurers provide coverage for losses incurred by insurance providers up to a specified amount negotiated by both parties. Similar to insurance for home, reinsurance acts as a safety net by transferring risk to another party. All right, guys, here we are with the knowledge check. I told you it's going to be short. It's way shorter than I thought it would be. But yay, we made it to the end of Module 6. And we're going to go into Module 7 and 8. And we're going to wrap this puppy up. I want you to email me and let me know if you passed the test. Email me if you have any questions. Email me and get these answers to this knowledge check. Okay, so your knowledge check today is, who is FEMA? Who is FEMA? What do they do? Okay, when we're talking about flood insurance. Also, we want to know, who is the NFIP? What does that mean? What do they do? Also, what is WYO? A lot of acronyms in this lesson today. Program. What is that and what do they do? Also, what does a flood insurance advocate do? And you have that contact information. How can I get in contact with a flood insurance advocate? Where can I go for information? That's what your client is going to need to know. Okay, guys, my email address is there. Email me if you have any questions, any comments. And I will see you in module, I will see you in module 7. Okay, thanks.